I've always been a straightforward guy, work hard, keep good company, and steer clear of drama. My job at the auto shop was demanding but rewarding, and forming friendships came naturally. When Nicholas started working there 2 years ago, our connection was instant. He wasn't just a coworker, he became the brother I never had. Lunch breaks were filled with laughter over cars, sports, or the latest TV antics. After hours, we'd grab beers, play video games, or tinker with side projects in his garage, the air thick with the smell of motor oil and camaraderie. Nicholas had a quick wit and a knack for lightening even the toughest days. I trusted him implicitly till everything changed. It began when I met Selena at a friend's barbecue. The summer evening buzzed with chatter and the sizzle of burgers. On the grill, Selena stood out witty, grounded, and sharp, with a smile that felt like home. We clicked instantly, texting late into the night and soon going on casual dates. When we decided to make it official, I couldn't wait to share the news with Nicholas. I expected him to be thrilled, but his reaction caught me off guard. "Careful, man," he said, his voice low, almost a growl. "Girls like her always have an angle." His words hung heavy in the humid air of the shop. I brushed it off with a laugh. What did that even mean? Was he just being protective, or was there's something else at play? Maybe a twinge of jealousy. I didn't dwell on it. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, right? But Nicholas's attitude didn't soften. His subtle jabs at Selena became a pattern. "You sure about her, dude?" he'd say, leaning against a toolbox, his eyes narrowing. "I heard she's still talking to her ex." When I pressed him for details, he'd shrug, muttering about sources. It was vague, unsettling. Soon, I heard whispers from coworkers Nicholas had been trashing Selena during breaks, calling her shady and warning them I was headed for trouble. Humiliation burned in my chest. Selena barely knew these guys. I confronted him, hoping to clear the air, but he played it off. "I'm just looking out for you, man," he said, clapping my shoulder. "You're like family." His loyalty had always been unwavering, so I wanted to believe him. Doubting a friend like Nicholas felt like betraying our bond. The tension peaked one Friday when Selena surprised me at the shop with lunch. The smell of fresh sandwiches filled the break room, and I was excited to see her, even if just for a moment. But when she walked in, Nicholas's demeanor shifted. His jaw tightened, and his usual warmth vanished. "Oh, hey," he muttered, barely glancing at her. Selena, ever gracious, smiled and greeted him, but he brushed past her, mumbling something. Under his breath, later, a coworker pulled me aside. "What's with Nicholas? He's been ripping into your girlfriend since she showed up." My blood boiled. That night, I texted Nicholas, demanding we talk. His response was dismissive. "Relax, man. Just trying to protect you. Can't you see she's not good for you?" A week later, Selena called me in a panic. She'd planned to meet me for dinner, but when she got to her car after work, all 4 tires were flat. "I didn't drive over anything," she said, her voice trembling. "It doesn't make sense." I rushed to her office, the evening sky darkening as I inspected the tires. The air valves were loose. Someone had tampered with them. A cold realization hit me. I dropped Selena off and drove straight to the shop, where Nicholas was working late, his silhouette framed by the glow of a workbench lamp. "Did you mess with Selena's car?" I demanded, my voice steady but sharp. His face hardened, eyes glinting with defiance. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Cut the crap, Nicholas. You've been sabotaging my relationship from the start. Why can't you let it go?" His composure shattered. "Because she's not right for you," he shouted, slamming a wrench onto the bench. "You're blind, but I see it. She's going to ruin your life, and I won't stand by and watch. You don't get to decide that." I yelled back, my fists clenched. "This isn't about protection, it's about control." "You'll thank me one day," he said, his voice dropping to a chilling whisper. When I turned to leave, he grabbed my arm, yanking me back. "You're not walking away from this. Let go, Nicholas," I warned, my pulse racing. He didn't. I shoved him, and chaos erupted. Punches flew, tools crashed to the concrete floor, and the shop echoed with our grunts and shouts. I barely managed to break free, stumbling out into the night, my hands trembling as I drove to Selena's the next day. I spoke to our boss, keeping the personal drama vague, but emphasizing Nicholas's erratic behavior. He promised to handle it, but the shop felt tainted now, a place where trust had been shattered. I found a new job at a shop a few towns over, and Selena and I moved in together, hoping for a fresh start. Yet, for months, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Glancing at every passing car, wondering if Nicholas was out there, waiting to protect me again. Jealousy can twist even the tightest bonds, turning loyalty into obsession. Nicholas taught me to heed the red flags, to confront unease before it festers. Selena and I are stronger than ever, and I've built new friendships at my new job. But sometimes, late at night, I still check the locks, haunted by the shadow of a friend I once trusted with my life. Friendship, like a grueling workout, demands effort, trust, and consistency. That's what I thought I had with Chris. We met at the gym where I worked as a trainer, bonding over deadlifts and protein shake recipes. For years, he was my go-to reliable, funny, and always up for a late-night banter about life, love, or the pursuit of the perfect bench press. But looking back, the cracks were there. Subtle warnings I ignored until they became impossible to dismiss. It started one humid night in the gym parking lot, the air thick with the scent of asphalt and exhaustion. We were sipping protein shakes, the kind that taste like chalk but promise gains. Chris was venting about his family money troubles, a messy feud with his brother. "Sometimes I feel like I can't tell anyone anything," he said, staring at the dashboard. I nodded, relating to the weight of carrying burdens alone. "Yeah, it's hard to trust people with the big stuff." There was a pause, heavy with the hum of cicadas. Then he turned to me, his eyes searching. "You ever feel like you're carrying something you just want to get off your chest?" Maybe it was the late hour or the intimacy of the moment, but I opened up. I shared a regret from my early 20s, a choice I'd made that wasn't illegal but left me ashamed. A secret I'd buried deep. It wasn't earth-shattering, but it was mine, raw and private. Chris listened, his face soft with understanding. When I finished, he clapped my shoulder. "Man, that's nothing. Everyone's got stuff like that. You can trust mine, never tell a soul." His words felt like a lifeline, and I believed him. For a while, things were fine. We kept our routine lifting together, swapping playlists, grabbing wings on weekends. But then, his comments started to shift. "Hey, remember that night you spilled your guts?" he'd say with a sly grin, his tone teasing but pointed. "Good thing you've got me to keep it under wraps." I laughed it off at first, chalking it up to his weird sense of humor. But the remarks kept coming, each one a little sharper. When I started hanging out with other friends or skipped our usual gym sessions, he'd drop lines like, "Don't forget who's got your back." It felt less like a joke and more like a warning. One night, I posted a photo on Instagram, laughing with some gym buddies over drinks. My phone buzzed almost instantly with a text from Chris, having fun without me. I rolled my eyes and replied, "Just grabbing a drink with the guys. You good?" His response was immediate. "Guess so. Just remember who your real friends are." The words left a sour taste, but I brushed it off, not wanting to overthink it. Then came the night at the gym, mid-workout, sweat dripping down my face. Chris leaned over, casual as ever. "You know, it'd be a shame if people found out about that thing you told me." Not that I'd ever tell, of course. My stomach dropped. I froze, mid-rep, the barbell clanging against the rack. What's that supposed to mean? I asked, my voice tight. He shrugged, all innocence. Nothing, man. Relax, you know me. But I didn't nod anymore. The breaking point came at a mutual friend's party. The room was alive with chatter, the clink of glasses and the hum of music. The conversation turned to regrets, everyone sharing lighthearted stories of bad haircuts or drunken mishaps. Chris, a beer in hand, grinned at me. "Oh, I bet Alex has a good one," he said, nudging me. My heart sank. "Don't even start," I warned, my voice low. But he pressed on, his tone mocking. "Come on, you know that thing from a few years ago? They'd love to hear it." The room went quiet, eyes on me. My face burned with rage and humiliation. "Chris, drop it," I snapped. He laughed, playing it off. All right, just kidding. You're so sensitive." I left the party, early, my blood boiling. The next day, I confronted him. "What the hell is your problem?" Kay demanded, my voice echoing in the empty gym. Kay fired back. "You're the one ditching me for other people, acting like I don't exist." "I'm just reminding you who's been there for you." By threatening to spill my secrets, I shot back. "That's not friendship. That's manipulation." "It's not a threat," he said, his tone defensive. "I'd never tell. But maybe you should think about who you prioritize." That was it. I told him we were done, that I couldn't trust someone who weaponized my vulnerabilities. Cutting Chris out hurt. He'd been a constant in my life, a partner in countless sweaty gym sessions and late-night talks. But the relief of not walking on eggshells outweighed the nostalgia. For weeks, I braced myself, expecting him to leak my secret out of spite. I considered telling close friends to neutralize his power, but I held back, choosing to let it fade. Chris taught me a brutal lesson. Trust is fragile, and not everyone who earns it deserves to keep it. I'm more guarded now, careful about who I let in. Friendship should be a haven, not a battlefield. Chris wasn't a friend. He was a lesson in disguise. As a nurse, my life is a whirlwind of long shifts, unpredictable schedules, and fleeting moments of rest. Socializing often takes a back seat, but Rachel was my constant. She was the friend who showed up with coffee after a grueling night shift, who listened patiently as I vented about the chaos of the ER, when she suggested we share our phone locations. For safety, it felt like a natural extension of her care. "You're always out late," she said over dinner one evening, the candlelight flickering across her concerned face. "What if something happened? I'd want to know where to find you." It made sense. Hospitals, dark parking lots, late nights. I agreed without hesitation, enabling location sharing on my phone. "Only if you share yours too," I added, half joking. She laughed, her eyes crinkling. Of course, safety goes both ways. I thought it was a simple pact between friends. I was wrong. The first sign came on a quiet Friday evening. I decided to treat myself to dinner at a cozy Italian restaurant near my apartment, the kind with checkered tablecloths and the smell of garlic bread in the air. As I savored my pasta, Rachel walked in, her face lighting up. "Melanie, what are the odds?" she said, sliding into the seat across from me. I forced a smile, unease creeping in. Yeah, crazy coincidence. It wasn't the first time. Days earlier, I'd gone to the park to unwind after a shift, the sunset casting golden rays over the grass. Rachel appeared, claiming she was jogging, and just happened to spot me. "Guess we're on the same wavelength," she'd said, her smile too wide. I laughed it off then, but the pattern was emerging. When Rachel showed up at my hospital, the unease turned to dread. It was a hectic Thursday night, charts piling up, the fluorescent lights harsh against my tired eyes. I heard her voice in the hallway, "Melanie." There she was, holding a coffee, her smile bright but oddly out of place. "Thought you could use this," she said. handing me the cup. "I saw you were still at work." My stomach twisted. I thanked her, but the gesture felt invasive, like she'd crossed an invisible line. She wasn't just checking in, she was tracking me. The breaking point came 2 weeks later at my parents' house. They were hosting a small family dinner, a rare chance to relax with homemade lasagna and my mom's stories. I hadn't mentioned it to Rachel. There was no reason to. But as I pulled into the driveway, there she was, leaning against her car, a bottle of wine in hand. "Surprise!" she called, waving as if she belonged there. Parents exchanged confused glances. "Rachel, this is a family dinner," I said, struggling to keep my voice steady. "Oh, I won't stay long," she said breezily, brushing past me toward the house. The evening was ruined, my appetite gone, as Rachel's presence loomed like an uninvited guest. After dinner, I confronted her. "You can't just show up like this. It's not okay." Her smile vanished, replaced by a cold, accusing stare. "I just wanted to spend time with you, Melanie. You've been so busy lately. Are you mad at me for caring?" Her words twisted my guilt, but the unease was stronger. The next day, I called her. "Rachel, I don't think sharing locations is healthy anymore. It feels invasive." Her voice sharpened. "Invasive? I've been nothing but a good friend." "You're overreacting. You've been showing up everywhere I go," I said, my voice firm. "It's not normal. I need space." Her tone turned venomous. "After everything I've done for you, I've been there through everything, and this is how you treat me." I hung up, my hands shaking, and blocked her on social media, turning off location sharing. For a while, it seemed to work. But one evening, leaving the hospital, I noticed a car across the street, Rachel's, or one eerily similar. My neighbor later mentioned seeing someone outside my building, just standing there, looking up at your window. Then came the package and envelope with no return address, containing a scrawled note. "You can't just cut me off, Melanie. I know you better than anyone." The final straw was at the grocery store. I saw her at the end of an aisle, staring, her eyes unblinking. I abandoned my cart and fled. The next day, a note appeared under my windshield wiper. "We need to talk." "Why are you avoiding me?" It wasn't overtly threatening, but the fact that she knew my work schedule, my parking spot, was enough. I called the police, detailing her appearances at my workplace, my parents' house, the store, and the notes. They filed a report and advised me to block her completely, which I had. Weeks later, mutual friends said Rachel had moved away, devastated, convinced I'd betrayed her. The guilt lingered, but so did the fear. Rachel had turned trust into a tool of control, her friendship a cage. I'm hypervigilant now, always checking my surroundings, second-guessing who I let close. Friendship should be a refuge, not a threat. Rachel was both a lesson and a warning one. I'll never forget. Tara was my rock through life's storms, my job loss, postpartum depression, a painful rift with my parents. She was there with coffee, hugs, and unwavering support, the kind of friend you think will always have your back. But over time, her warmth became suffocating. Her loyalty a chain I didn't see tightening until it was almost too late. It started. Subtly, Tara grew agitated when I made plans without her. Even with my husband, William, or other friends. Her calls became relentless, her texts probing. "Where are you? What are you doing?" I brushed it off, thinking she was lonely or overly protective. But her behavior shifted from caring to controlling. When I joined a gym and reconnected with old friends after my youngest started preschool, Tara's reaction was sharp. "You don't need them," she said one afternoon. Her voice laced with venom as we sat in her living room, the air heavy with tension. "I've been here when no one else was. Don't forget that." Her words stung, but I told myself she was just having a bad day. Then came the park incident. I was pushing my kids on the swings, the spring breeze carrying their laughter, when I noticed Tara's car at the edge of the lot. She didn't approach, just sat there, watching. Later, when I texted her, she replied, "Just wanted to make sure you were okay." It felt wrong, but I didn't want to accuse her without proof. As I tried to distance myself, her behavior escalated. She showed up at my daughter's school one morning, standing by the entrance as I dropped off my oldest. I assumed she was there for her niece and nephew, but her text later chilled me. "Saw you at the school. Cute outfit. Why didn't you say hi?" The notes started soon after. The first was taped to my car in a grocery store parking lot. "You can't replace me." I tried to rationalize it may be a bad joke, but more notes followed, slipped under my door, tucked into my mailbox, each one repeating, "You can't replace me." William urged me to cut ties. "This isn't normal," he said, holding a note, his face etched with worry. "She's crossed a line." I knew he was right, but confronting Tara felt like dismantling a piece of my life. When I finally sat her down, her reaction was explosive. "You're abandoning me." She cried, her voice trembling with rage. "After everything I've done for you." "Tara, this isn't about abandoning you," I said, my heart pounding. "I need space. My family needs space." Her eyes darkened. "Your family? They weren't there when you needed them. I was." She stormed out, and I hoped that was the end. It wasn't. Days later, Tara confronted William at his office, screaming, "In the parking lot, she's poisoning you against me. You don't know what she's capable of." Security escorted her away, but the fear lingered. Then came the night she stood in our driveway, screaming, "You can't erase me," as my kids cowered upstairs. William called the police, who removed her, and we filed for a restraining order the next day. We installed security cameras, changed our routines, and had a painful talk with our kids, explaining that Aunt Tara wasn't safe anymore. The friendship I cherished had become a nightmare, leaving me paranoid, always checking over my shoulder. Tara wasn't always this way. She'd been kind, generous, a lifeline. But her need for control consumed her, turning love into obsession. Some friendships are lessons, others warnings. Tara was both, a reminder that even those closest to us can become our greatest fears. These stories linger like a chill in the air. Reminders that friendship, like any bond, can fracture under the weight of envy, manipulation, or obsession. If these tales of betrayal hit close to home, take a moment to reflect on your own connections. Trust your instincts, set boundaries, and don't ignore the red flags. Share your own unsettling experiences in the comments. Have you ever had a friend cross a line? Stay vigilant, because sometimes the ones we hold closest are the ones we should fear most.